Control deforestation. We can control deforestation through education and awareness, to stop the problem from getting any worse. There are many different ways that deforestation is happening all over the world. This article will discuss some of them as well as how it affects our planet and what humans can do about it. Control deforestation by education. Deforestation is a serious problem for the environment. In many countries, what's left of their forests is under constant threat from logging and other human intervention that can threaten endangered species and destroy natural habitats. However, by educating people about how important trees are to our survival on Earth, we may reverse this unfortunate trend in some places. Deforestation has been an ongoing issue ever since humans started shaping the world around them, with deforestation being one of those changes. It mostly impacts biodiversity and climate change and could lead to disastrous effects such as increased drought or even desertification if not tended properly. On average, 1 to 2% more forest is lost each year than gained back, which means over time, there will continue less green space available across the globe. Deforestation can be controlled by planting trees in the most remote and untouched regions of our planet. Education is important. Still, we need to start getting people on board with this idea as soon as possible. Control deforestation. Control deforestation by controlling population. Control deforestation by controlling the population, but other factors such as government regulation affect deforestation. For example, Brazil has enacted a law to cut down 20% of their Amazon forest by 2020 to combat the destruction caused from clear-cutting and cattle grazing. The world is losing its greenery at an alarming and rapid rate. Population growth, the need for more agricultural land to produce food, a changing climate are all factors that have contributed to this loss of forested areas worldwide. Deforestation can be controlled by controlling the population for us not only to maintain our forests but also continue essential work like fighting global warming with trees whose leaves help absorb CO2 from the air while producing oxygen, which helps keep it cool. Control deforestation by reducing urbanization. Urbanization is a major cause of the deforestation problem. But as you know, urban areas will continue to grow with or without forest protection and expansion. The key lies in having more rural communities sustainably develop their resources while keeping them accessible to outsiders who need access, like villages that harvest rubber trees, maintain fish ponds or hunt wild animals for food. Deforestation can be controlled by reducing urbanization, a process in which trees are cut down and used for construction or energy. Finding ways to reduce our population size will also help keep the planet green from climate change happening faster than expected due to fewer people on Earth consuming resources like wood that would otherwise go wasted if we don't use them up quickly. Control deforestation. Control deforestation by planting trees. Our lungs will thank us for planting trees to replace the ones we've cut down. Trees are needed as a natural barrier against climate change and help provide cleaner air and water sources, all while reducing our carbon footprint. Planting more trees can be one of the easiest ways to control deforestation. What's so bad about that? By doing this simple task, you'll give back some oxygen molecules by helping clean up dirty urban pollution in addition to aiding with global warming issues. Trees can be planted to control the effects of deforestation. First, planting trees will create new habitats for animals and local populations in different areas. This creates a more diversified ecosystem with greater biodiversity and an increase in benefits from natural resources, including food production, fresh water supply, protection against soil erosion which mitigates climate change impacts such as flooding or drought by storing carbon dioxide emissions that cause global warming and much more. Secondly, these plants also have been shown to act like green lungs where they remove CO2 from our atmosphere through photosynthesis. This is why we must plant even one tree. So every little bit counts because together we are strong. Control deforestation by recycling and reusing. Deforestation is a serious issue, but it can be controlled by recycling and reusing as many materials as possible. Deforestation is a huge issue that has been plaguing our planet for decades. The problem starts with humankind's never-ending need to build bigger and better, leading them to chop down trees at an alarming rate to accommodate their needs. These large-scale construction projects do not demolish the land they are built on, so deforestation still occurs elsewhere due to lack of space or resources as logging companies move further into untouched forest areas. But there is hope. Recycling paper can take some responsibility off of forests by reducing how many new products we require, but reusing materials like wood pallets instead also helps reduce the consumption level while simultaneously boosting society's recycling rates, since what would have just ended up being garbage now becomes useful. Control deforestation by restoring degraded forests. It's a sad fact that many forests around the world have been deforested. But it is possible to restore them by providing enough water and nutrients, such as mulching soil or planting new plants, especially legumes. Control deforestation by restoring degraded forests through the use of a variety of methods. Deforestation is one of today's most pressing environmental issues. Some people might think this problem cannot be solved or that there are insufficient resources to do so, but they couldn't be further from the truth. One way we control deforestation around the world is restoration. Restoration refers to actions taken at any scale, for example, community-based and landscape, for ecological recovery in areas with significant human impacts. There are many ways you could restore an area, including things like planting native species trees, removing invasive plants, introducing fire-resistant tree species into forested communities. The list goes on. Restoring these natural environments has been proven time after time. The restoration process will help restore biodiversity in that region and prevent erosion, which would make things worse than they already are. Control deforestation by reducing the use of paper. Deforestation can be controlled by reducing the use of paper. Just imagine all those trees that were saved. Paper is an essential resource for writing and printing. Without it, the world would be a sloppy mess with no organization or structure in place to guide us on our way. Paper's importance can't be denied, however, deforestation has made its conservation difficult at best. Forests are cut down either by logging companies that sell wood from trees as timber products like furniture and paper goods, or they're removed to create space where people live, often leading them into poverty because of unemployment due to loss of forest employment opportunities which pay low wages but offer long-term security without outside pressure coming onto communities trying valiantly to provide food and shelter for their families while still attempting not to go bankrupt if possible. UNESCO. Deforestation also destroys biodiversity through habitat. The paperless office is a good first step for reducing deforestation. Studies show that forests can be saved by as much as 73% if we reduce our dependence on trees to make paper by changing how people interact with their documents, like using digital records over print copies of reports or announcements instead. Control deforestation. Control deforestation by using sustainable wood. Control deforestation by planting sustainable trees and using the wood from those to produce products. Deforestation is a pressing issue that can be solved by using sustainable wood. Such types of lumber are plentiful and come from trees that have been downed either by natural causes or old age, so there's no need to cut down any more healthy ones for their timber. Deforestation has become an incredibly widespread problem with many negative side effects on the environment. For example, the depletion of forests reduces habitat range drastically and depriving creatures such as birds and insects of food sources needed to survive in today's changing climate pattern. Luckily, we're not helpless against deforestation. Using green materials like bamboo or sustainably harvested woods will help us stem this tide without losing hope completely. Control deforestation by use organic products. You can do your part in saving the environment by using organic products such as dish soap, laundry detergents, and produce cleaners. You know you are doing something right if it feels good and smells great. For example, use natural cleaning supplies for a fresh smell of lemons or lavender, depending on what's freshest at the market that day. Forests can be saved by trying organic products. Organic farming is an agricultural system that relies on natural nitrogen sources, crop rotation, and animal manures to fertilize the soil rather than chemical fertilizers, which has been a leading cause of deforestation worldwide. The world needs to transition away from industries that rely on inorganic products and focus more heavily on sustainable organic farming practices. Control deforestation by avoiding palm oil. Control deforestation by halting the use of palm oil. But, unfortunately, not only does this ingredient have a negative environmental impact, but it's also linked to the decline in orangutan populations and increased rates of foodborne illness. A recent study found that deforestation is rising globally due largely to unsustainable practices involving agriculture, such as clear-cutting for cattle pasture land and using pesticides without proper safety precautions. These harmful agricultural techniques would not exist if we stopped consuming products with palm oil. This ingredient has been tied to higher incidence of cancerous cells appearing from people who consume it. Its conversion process creates more carcinogens than other oils like olive manna, which undergoes less processing before being sold. Control deforestation by avoiding palm oil. Palm oil is a key ingredient in many foods, cosmetics, and cleaning products, making it difficult to avoid without adopting an entirely new lifestyle. The best way to reduce your impact on the environment while still eating plants or animal parts with high environmental costs like beef and dairy instead opts for plant-based alternatives such as soy milk, tofu, hot dogs that are more readily available than ever before.